Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and my space. For those of you who are new, my name is Raquel. Hi and welcome. I do apologize for the lighting in here. My ring light broke. I am in the process of getting new lighting, hopefully better lighting than the ring light. And I do apologize for this new background. I am not able to record in my office right now as my kids are doing homeschool. So finding the time to be able to record along with their school schedule is just, throwing a big wrench in the process. Also, I do want to apologize that I haven't had any tarot videos out. I will be doing all through the month of May. I will be having my tarot videos come back, so be on the lookout for those. I am taking these last 2 weeks of April off to record all of May's videos, so then that way you guys will not have to wait for videos to come out from me. But until then, I will be doing the weekly astrologies, my astrology lesson videos, and the Spirit Speaks and the Spooky Story Sundays. But my tarot readings will pick up again in May. With all that being said, let's get into today's video. Today I'm going to be going over the axes in a natal chart. So if you pull out your natal chart, you will see it's like a pie and there's different pie pieces all over the chart. Well, your first house, it sits underneath your ascendant line. Yeah, so this would be the first house, right? Yeah. So the first house will be that first pie piece right here. All right. And directly across from it, you will notice it's the seventh house. So that is what we refer to as the first house, seventh house axis or axis. And what it basically is they are opposites of each other. If you look at the zodiac, if you look at Aries, which is the ruler of the first house, and you look at Libra, which is the ruler of the seventh house, Libra and Aries are totally opposite. They are very opposite. Libras tend to listen to everything before they make a decision. They're very indecisive when it comes to that. Aries, they're very quick at making decisions. They jump on things very quickly. So you can see how the axis right there, it shows the relationship, because what the axes are opposites. So whatever house it is, whatever sits directly across from it is the opposite. It's the opposite energy. So with the first house being of self and the seventh house being of your relationships, that axis really talks about not only decision making, how, depending on what planets are there, it shows how you do that, but it's also about your own relationship. So if you have a lot of planets in the first house, depending on what planets are in your first house, it can say that yourself is a main focal point of this lifetime. If you do have planets that are the same in the first and the seventh house, you have to find a good balance between those two houses. Your relationships and yourself, like how some people, they'll have their Chiron in their first house of self. So that's all about, like your karma around yourself, like doing things for yourself, being for yourself this lifetime. A lot of your karmic lessons are going to revolve around yourself. If you have Chiron in your seventh house, that can say that a lot of your life lessons and your karmic lessons are going to be around relationships. So usually with Chiron, where it's placed, like mine is in the seventh house. So I get a lot of my karmic lessons through relationships. Because it's in the seventh house, I need to learn how to embrace that first house energy. So that's just, part of, I am going to do a Chiron through the houses series. But that's just basically what it's saying. Like, if you have a couple of planets in the 7th house and a couple of planets in the 1st house, you have to learn how to balance that axis right there. It's going to be a very important factor in your life. Now we're going to move on to the 2nd house axis and the 8th house axis. Okay, so that axis, the 2nd house and the 8th house. The 2nd house is all about your money, your value, your possessions, how you create your stability, how you create what you find valuable, how you create your space, right? The 8th house is all about other people. It's about the mysteries of the world. It's about being intrigued by what goes on in other people's lives. It's about, what goes on in your life. This is the house of transformation, whereas the 2nd house is all about stability. So the 2nd house is all about, stability, your foundations. The 8th house is all about changing up the monotony, transformation. So that's the relationship factor between that axis. And like I said, if you have same number of planets in both houses there, on that axis, you've got to find a perfect balance with that energy in your life. You've got to be willing to change, but also knowing when to stay stable and sane. So moving on to the 3rd house and the 9th house axes. Now, your 3rd house is all about how you communicate. It's about how you take in knowledge from the world. It's early childhood education. It's your relationships with your siblings. It's how you communicate with your siblings. It's how you communicate with the people that are around you. It's the way that you take in knowledge, how you take in knowledge, right? How creative you are with that knowledge that you are taking in. So it's all, and it also rules short trips. So it's all about, it's all about, just the local neighborhood, like going over to your parents' house for the weekend or going up north for the weekend. It's all about your local communication, your local learning, your early learning, right? Then we take the 9th house, and the 9th house is all about expansion. It's about spirituality. It's about gaining knowledge. It's about, the whole picture, whereas the 3rd house is about the little details, right? So if you have planets if you have the same number of planets, or depending on what, planets are aspecting, how they're aspecting each other in that axis, you need to find a balance between your 3rd house and your 9th house. Now, 9th house is all about expanding your knowledge, seeking out knowledge, traveling. It's about seeing the bigger picture. Whereas, like I said, the 3rd house is all about paying attention to detail and communicating the detail that you pay attention to about your thoughts and your ideas within that, right? So that's what the relationship is with that one. So moving on, we've got the 4th house and the 10th house axis. Now, this axis can be a tricky one. It's actually one of the ones that I understand most. Your 4th house is all about home, family, your roots, how you care, how you nurture for your family, how you were brought up, how you were cared, how you were nurtured. The 10th house is all about your career, your status, what's outside your home, what's outside your family, what you leave your home to become. So that axis it's about, the fourth house and the 10th house. Fourth house is about your roots, where you came from, how you interact within your family. And your 10th house is all about your status, your career, your work. So finding a balance between those is what that axis represents. It can also be like if you have your north in, let's see, we just came out of the north node or we're about to come out of the north node in Cancer. So if you have your north node in Cancer, that means your south node is in Capricorn, and it means that you have to really you're moving away from the energy of where you're always at work, you're always concerned about your work and your status and career, and you're moving your energy into your north node, where it's all about family and your home, how you nurture, how you care for those around you. You might be comfortable in that, work status, career, because that's your south node. That's the energy that you came in this world with. But when you leave this world, you have to end up where your north node is, which is all about home, family. So finding the balance between that in your life. So that's what the fourth house and 10th house axis is about. Now, if we move on, we go to the 5th house and the 11th house axis. Now, the 5th house is all about fun, games, our inspiration, our habits, our drive, what we find fun, what we find childlike, right? And it's also about our children, how we relate to our children, and for some instances, in some birth charts, you can tell how many children you're going to have by what's in the 5th house, or what degrees the 5th house axis is at. But anyways, so the 5th house, it's all about, fun, games, your children, your community, how you have fun, what you aspire to do, your habits, your talents, right? Well, when you go across the opposite energy, there is the 11th house, and this is ruled by Aquarius. So this is all about the world. This is about, sharing yourself with the world, sharing your beliefs with the world, sticking up for your beliefs within the world, changing the world, being innovative, okay? This is about the world at large. So it's not about yourself anymore and what you find fun and what is fun. It's about the world and how you can help and how you can make a better place for the world in general. So that's that axis. That's that balance there. That's what that axis represents. And other people's children too. Placements in the 11th house, you could be a teacher, you could be, you could be a nurse, you could be a doctor, you could be anything that deals with the public and humanitarianism. All right, so the public and then yourself. All right, so moving on, we've got the 6th house axis and the 12th house axis. So those two right there. Now, the 6th house, this is Virgo ruled, and the 6th house is all about our daily habits, our daily routine, our health. Okay, what we see and what we do on a daily basis. This is where we plan. This is where we organize. This is where we, I'm trying to think of the right word. We eat right. What we do on a daily basis. The 12th house, that's all about dreams. It's about the world that is hidden. It's about the spirit world. It's about things that we don't know are happening that all of a sudden come up. It's the behind the scenes. It's the end of life, before life house. So when you have the 12th house, that's kind of like dreamy, whispery, and then you've got the 6th house, which is all down to earth. Let's do this. This has got to be routine. The 12th house is more flighty, more, vast, more big, whereas the 6th house is more structured. So that is the you got to find balance between that in your life as well. So that's the access for the 12th and the 6th house. So to sum it all up, with these accesses, it's all about balance. If you look at one house on your natal chart, if you go directly across, that is the opposite energy. And depending on where your planets are and what your planets are doing in your chart, that can give you a good example of what you should be doing or what you feel the need to do that you might not know you need to do. Like, take for instance me. I have my North Node in my 8th house. So I came in to life with this energy that I need to have stability, because I came in with my South Node in my 2nd house. So I came in with this need for stability. And that's my comfort zone. That's what I always fall back on, right? But the 8th house is that of change, and it pushes us past our horizons. It makes us change. It makes us transform. My whole entire life, that's what I've been doing, changing and transforming. But I'm going to get to a point in life where I need to let go. I need to learn to let go and just trust the universe. Whereas it's not so easy when you have 2nd house placements, which I do. I have Jupiter there. So, it's kind of hard. But no, I have Jupiter in my 1st. What do I have in my 2nd? Oh, Neptune. Huh? Oh. But as you can see, like these accesses, if you get to learn the opposite energy as well as the energy of that house, it can help you decipher the North and South nodes. It can help you decipher your Chiron placement. It can also, help you decipher, depending on if you have planets that go directly across to the opposite house, it can help you decipher that energy a lot better. So it's really good to know your accesses. I will put in the description box below just a brief type up of keywords for each access, so that way you can kind of get the gist. It's all about balance. If you look at everything on the zodiac wheel, on your natal wheel, your chart, it's all balanced. Even the energies are balanced, because Aries always sits opposite Libra. Pisces always sits opposite Virgo. Capricorn always sits opposite Cancer. Leo always sits opposite Aquarius. Scorpio always sits opposite Taurus. So it's good to know what opposite there is within the zodiac, because that'll help you understand the energies more, and it'll help you understand what energies bump heads more and why they bump heads. All right. Well, that's all I got for the accesses. I will put timestamps for each access too down there in the description box below. Then that way, if you want to come back later on at a later date to watch it, say you have a question on the 1st and 7th house access, then you can just click the timestamp. If you have any questions about this below, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you understand how these accesses work. If you would like me to do a follow-up video to the accesses, maybe go through each and every zodiac sign. I only did 1 through 6 because we're talking about, the access. So we're talking about 1st house, 7th house, 2nd house, 8th house, 3rd house, 9th house, 5th house, 11th house, 6th house, 12th house. So that's why I did 1 through 6. So it's basically the same thing on the other side. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you want to get more astrology videos from me, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that you make sure the bell is wiggling because I will be putting up astrology videos at least once a week. I would like to get more in a week, but right now with my timetable, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. But for now on, I'm posting at least one astrological video a week. So yeah, that's it. I hope you all are staying safe. Please be kind to one another, and I will see you in the next astrology video. Bye.